Two batches of cow and gate baby milk powder being recalled. Photographers say they were attacked at Mongkok rally. And HSBC to shut down bank accounts of foreign embassies in London.
Good evening. Two batches of cow and gate baby milk powder imported into Hong Kong are being pulled off the shelves. It was revealed the raw materials used in the product may contain a potentially deadly bacteria. This comes after Fonterra, the supplier of the raw materials, said its products have been contaminated with a bacteria that can cause botulism, a potentially fatal disease which affects the muscles and can cause respiratory problems. Evelina Leung reports.
The affected batches of cow and gate baby milk powder is the Stage 3 growing up formula for children aged 1 to 3 with the serial numbers 3178 and 3179. The expiry dates for these two batches are June 27th or 28th, 2015. So far, 100,000 cans of the two batches have been recalled in Hong Kong and Macau. Cow and Gate says it's voluntarily recalling the milk powder after Fonterra notified the company that the product has been contaminated with a bacteria.
About 140,000 has been imported into Hong Kong, and out of this, about 82,000 has been dispatched to the retail outlets. But how many of these are still on the shelves or in the warehouse of the retailers, we do not know.
One drugstore owner said the recalled baby milk powder just got delivered earlier this month and none has been sold yet. Lau Oi Kwok said the company has already contacted them and said it will recall the affected products within a week. However, some parents remain concerned about the contamination.
As a mom, it's very important to keep the baby healthy all the time.
Consumers who have bought the product and want a refund or have further inquiries can contact Cow and Gate on 3509 2000. Evelina Lang, TVB News.
Meanwhile, China and a host of other countries aren't taking any chances with potentially tainted products made by Fonterra, the world's largest dairy product exporter. Associated food items have either been recalled or banned altogether.
A botulism-causing bacteria is to blame for tainting over 900,000 kilograms of infant formula, sports drinks, and other products sold in 7 different countries. The revelation was made when tests revealed bacteria in whey protein made by New Zealand dairy giant Fonterra. Fonterra pointed to a dirty pipe at one processing plant as the culprit. While New Zealand's Prime Minister is demanding answers from Fonterra, he also defended the company.
This whey product was produced in May of 2012. Apparently it showed up something in its testing, but clearly not enough to make Fonterra say you can't use that product. Now,
but the Prime Minister also admitted the smallest hint any product was tainted should have been a warning sign not to risk a food illness outbreak.
If it's testing for some reason in an odd way, that it would just be discarded until they were absolutely sure it's right.
But the damage to New Zealand's reputation of supplying top quality products was already done. While Russia outright banned the items, China placed a temporary suspension on importation.
The Chinese authorities have suspended imports of Fonterra-produced whey powder and dairy-based powder, and increased inspection and supervision at the border for New Zealand dairy products. Russia, for example, appears to have put a temporary ban on all New Zealand dairy products.
Concerned with product reliability, Chinese parents say they're furious over yet another milk powder scare. To ensure health safety, authorities in Beijing have had to recall over 720 tons of affected products. Those concerned with food safety in Malaysia were also spotted yanking Fonterra products off their shelves.
Our aim is if there is any chance that a contaminated source has already reached, we will ensure the recall of that product.
The scare also prompted the New Zealand dollar to drop about 2 cents against the U.S. dollar. Sonia Artero, TVB News.
Embassies and consulates in London are scrambling to find a new bank after HSBC told them it will be closing down their accounts. As Alan Booknear reports, even the Vatican's mission in London is affected.
HSBC said the move is part of a wider assessment of its business retrenchment to shut down peripheral and underperforming units. Since the retrenchment was started by Chief Executive Stuart Gulliver in 2011, 52 units have been closed with the loss of 40,000 jobs. An HSBC spokesman said the bank's appetite for embassy business, which is not particularly profitable, had diminished. 40 different embassies, consulates, and even the Vatican's mission in London are reportedly affected. Foreign missions traditionally deal in large amounts of cash, something that could raise uncomfortable questions at the bank. HSBC is still reeling from a money laundering scandal. Last year, the bank paid U.S. authorities a record $1.9 billion fine after it was found that its bankers had been handling money belonging to Iran, Libya, and Mexico's murderous drug cartels. Meanwhile, HSBC says the restructuring measures are working. Today, the bank announced its first half profits rose 22% year on year to $10.2 billion. HSBC is Europe's biggest bank by market value. Alan Booknear, TVB News.
The Israeli government put 91 Jewish settlements on a national priority funding list, making them eligible for extra cash for construction. At its weekly meeting, the Israeli cabinet added 6 more settlements to the list of enclaves built on land on the West Bank that Israel captured in the 1967 Middle East War. The land is in dispute, with Palestinians wanting to establish an independent state there. Critics say the increased funding will encourage Jewish immigration to the region, even as the resumption of Middle East peace talks has been agreed to. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas had demanded a freeze on settlement reconstruction as a condition to resuming the talks. He relented after Israel agreed to release 104 Palestinian prisoners.
The U.S. State Department reopened its embassy in the capital of Afghanistan today. This after it was temporarily closed due to a possible militant threat. Washington had closed 21 of its embassies and consulates yesterday after an al-Qaeda threat that lawmakers say was the most serious in years. While the Kabul embassy reopened, the United States extended embassy closures by a week in a number of embassies in the Middle East and Africa. Diplomatic missions in Algiers and Baghdad were also due to reopen today. Iran's new president has called on the West to abandon the language of sanctions in dealing with his country's nuclear program. Hassan Rouhani, a moderate cleric who won a landslide victory in last month's presidential election, took his oath of office before Parliament yesterday. He said the people of Iran had voted for moderation and distanced themselves from extremism. And moderation means balance between aspirations and reality. He called for dialogue with the West while asking foreign powers to speak to Iran through the language of respect and not the language of sanctions. Iran is under United Nations sanctions, as well as unilateral oil and banking sanctions imposed by Western countries over Tehran's refusal to halt its uranium enrichment program. Many Iranians and foreign diplomats hope that Rouhani, a former top nuclear negotiator, can strike a more conciliatory tone in negotiations than his predecessor, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad.
In the United States, a California man has been arrested on suspicion of murder after a car plowed into pedestrians on a popular beach boardwalk, killing one and injuring 11 others. Security cameras showed 38-year-old Nathan Campbell getting into his dark sedan and racing straight into a crowd of people. Witnesses said it appeared the car's driver was aiming at pedestrians on Oceanside Walkway in Venice Beach. A 32-year-old Italian woman on her honeymoon was killed. Police said they found the car involved later in nearby Santa Monica, where Campbell lives. And still to come in the broadcast, property agent accused of misleading buyers of industrial units. A protest against a plan to turn a wet market into a supermarket, and a new tourist attraction in the French capital.
Welcome back. The Estate Agents Authority has received a complaint against a property agent who allegedly tried to mislead a potential buyer into promoting units in a Chunwan industrial building. The agent allegedly said the units can be used as offices and homes. Evelina Lung reports.
This 20-story industrial building in Chunwan is filled with 400 square foot offices. Each of the offices is furbished and comes with a private toilet. The sales brochure clearly states that the units are for industrial use only. However, when we called to inquire about these units, one sales agent told us that tenants can work as well as live there. The agent said as long as authorities don't inspect the units, the tenants will be fine. And if officials do inspect the units, the agent said the tenants can say they are self-employed and work in a unique industry that requires them to spend long periods of time in the office. The agent also said the government currently does not crack down on these tenants. But he stressed he can't guarantee this is going to be the same in the future. The Estate Agents Authority said property agencies providing misleading or false information to buyers is a violation of regulations. The property developer of this industrial building, meanwhile, stressed it had told real estate agents that this development is for industrial use only. This means only the buyers will be held responsible for breaking the law by residing in an industrial use only property, according to a lawyer. Leung Wing Hang said because the developer has already stated the purpose of the property, if buyers choose to use it for something else, they will be the ones in the wrong. Evelina Lang, TVB News.
Lawyers for China Resources Power were in court today after the company was accused of failing to protect stakeholders' interests. A High Court judge today gave the company 21 days to defend its case against the 6 minority shareholders who are suing the company for negligence. Stephanie Choi reports.
The company is accused of failing to take stockholders' interests into consideration when it lost billions by buying coal mining assets in Shanxi province. The defense maintained there was no conflict of interest involved in their purchase and that the 20 corporate executives in question neither committed fraud nor acted on personal gain. After the hearing, mainland representative for the minority shareholders, Oscar Chen, expressed his confidence in Hong Kong's judicial system. But he was concerned that the China Resources Power would continue to stall and refuse to publicize information about the acquisition. The defense had initially bargained for 28 days to gather more evidence. Also at the hearing was former investigative reporter Li Jianzhen, who was the first to make allegations against China Resources Power in March earlier this year. This afternoon, he went to the ICAC and the police to offer more evidence. Li mentioned that part of the evidence was emailed to him by internal sources. Li added that the reason he reported the case to local authorities was because part of the bribery occurred in Hong Kong. He said he hopes that this case would be an opportunity for Hong Kong to collaborate with the mainland in the battle against corruption. Stephanie Choi, TVB News.
Protesters gathered outside the Link REIT headquarters today to voice their opposition against the company's plan to convert the Hoi Fu market in Mong Kok into a supermarket. The protesters attempted to charge into the office building, but were stopped by security guards. The demonstrators have called on the company not to demolish the market, but said even if it has to be replaced, the affected tenants have to be reasonably compensated. The Link REIT said it will meet with the tenants tomorrow and promised to help them as much as it can. Okay, I believe we're going over to sports right now, Chris.
Let's have a look and see what
going on.
The game players are up to. All eyes will be on Wednesday's International Champions Cup final in the United States. Jose Mourinho will lead Chelsea against his former club Real Madrid after the Blues beat AC Milan 2-0. Jameson Wong has the highlights.
Eden Hazard with the heavy lifting before leaving it for Kevin De Bruyne at the half-hour mark in New Jersey. But we weren't guaranteed the dream final until injury time. Andre Schürrle with the nice volley. 2-0 the final. Chelsea to meet Real Madrid and Jose Mourinho to lead the Blues against his former club. But the special one, now the happy one, played down this preseason doozy of a match.
So they won their matches, we won our matches, we are there. And for us, it's very good. For them, I don't know, but for us, it's very good because we play against a very special team with very special players in a competition that we are not there obsessed to win.
In the night's other game, Valencia defeated Inter Milan 4-0. The Spanish side will play in the 5th place match against Everton. Jameson Wong, TVB News.
Rain at Old Trafford could end Australia's hopes of winning the Ashes. The tourists lead the third test by 331 runs. However, heavy rain is in the forecast and a draw looks likely. Sunday, England avoided the follow-on by posting 368 all out. In their second innings, Australia reached 172 for 7 declared. David Warner scored 41 off 57 balls. Michael Clark was an unbeaten 30. Because of rain, play was abandoned with 32 overs remaining in the day. England lead the series 2-0.
A Zeppelin took to the skies above Paris yesterday, offering visitors a new and exciting way of viewing the French capital. Flying slowly and low, sightseers now have the opportunity to view the countryside and castles outside Paris, as well as the city skyline and even the Eiffel Tower. The pilot praised Airship Paris, the company operating the Zeppelins, saying it is the safest type of aircraft because the gas inside is helium and non-flammable. For a price starting at $330 for a half an hour, up to 12 tourists can fly at an altitude of 300 meters at the speed of 35 knots above the River Seine and Versailles. The company hopes that the airship will eventually be used as a regular mode of transportation in the region. And switching gears here, 2 print photographers say they were roughed up at yesterday's heated rally in Mongkok. And a police superintendent is being investigated for participating in that event. Ronnie Samtani reports.
Tensions rose between opposing groups at a rally organized by the Federation of Hong Kong Parents Association yesterday. The association was voicing its support for a primary school teacher who hurled insults at police during a Falun Gong protest last month. The other group, meanwhile, were backing the authorities. 2 photographers, Lo Kwok Fai from Next Magazine and Tang Chung Wang from Ming Pao, say they were attacked while covering the event. Lo says he fell after being pushed by several people, and Tang said he was repeatedly pushed and shoved. The police reported this afternoon that one of the suspects involved in the assault has been arrested and the matter is now under investigation. However, the Hong Kong Journalists Association is not satisfied. Lloyd C. Locke, convener of the association's Press Freedom Subcommittee, said there were several police officers standing nearby the scuffles, but they failed to do anything. And President of the Federation of Hong Kong Parents Association, Letitia Lee, reported to the police this afternoon that she received several threatening calls before the rally. She said the people who called her told her to keep her mouth shut. And a police superintendent, Gregory Lau, is now being investigated for violating police guidelines for attending yesterday's event. He is currently on pre-retirement leave. The police criticized Lau for attending the event, saying police officers shouldn't attend events which could affect the impartiality of the law enforcement officers. But Lau argued he has not done anything wrong. He claims that many other officers attended the event with him, and because he is on pre-retirement leave, he's not a working police officer. A spokesperson for the police has said that if officers violate the internal guidelines, the department will follow procedures to deal with the matter. Ronnie Samtani, TVB News.
The Lama Ferry disaster last October came under the spotlight again today. Hong Kong Electric is being prosecuted for not providing adequate crew on board the Lama 4, one of the two vessels involved in the boat collision that left 39 people dead. The power company pleaded not guilty to that charge, and a verdict will be announced in 2 weeks. The case was heard at the Eastern Magistracy today. A passenger on board the Lama 4 told the court that there were 3 uniformed crew members on duty that day, including one who was steering the boat. Meanwhile, a Marine Department official said a ship inspector decided earlier that the Lama 4 should be sailed by at least 4 crew members. The official said the requirement was listed on the inspection certificate as well as the boat's license, but the department has not sent any special notice to the boat's owner. Hong Kong Electric's lawyers said there is no specific requirement in the law regarding the number of crew members. The lawyer said the company was told that another Hong Kong Electric vessel, the Lama 2, which is about the same size as the Lama 4, has to be manned by at least 2 crewmen.
And it's kind of a special Monday. A little more sports before we go. In golf, Tiger Woods cruised to another win at the World Golf Championship event in Ohio. Woods fired a final round even par 70 and finished at 15 under par overall. Fellow American Keegan Bradley and Sweden's Henrik Stenson were tied for second at 8 under. It was Tiger's 8th win at this tournament. The year's final major, the PGA Championship, begins later this week at Oak Hill in New York. And it wasn't to be for South Korea's Inbi Park. The 25-year-old was bidding to become the first golfer to win the first 4 women's majors of the season. However, at the Women's British Open at St. Andrews Park finished in a tie for 42nd place. American Stacey Lewis picked up her 2nd major title, ending a run of 10 straight majors won by players from Asia.
And that is one varied wrap of our news tonight. Thanks so much for watching, and good evening, everyone.
Good night.
Good evening. Locally, the weather was fine and very hot. It was sunny this afternoon. And as tonight's situation chart shows, under the dominance of a ridge of high pressure, the weather is generally fine and very hot over southern China. Today's temperatures ranged from 27 to 32.9 degrees, and the relative humidity was between 52 and 89%, light westerly winds. The current temperature is now 30 degrees Celsius, with the relative humidity standing at 72%. The very hot weather warning is now in force. So Freddie, how's the weather tomorrow?
Oh.
It will be mainly fine. The minimum temperature will be about 27 degrees. It will be very hot during the day tomorrow, apart from some isolated showers. The maximum temperature will be around 33 degrees. There will be a few showers on Wednesday, becoming fine and very hot gradually in the next couple of days. Tomorrow's API is forecast at 15 to 90, and the pollution level will range from low to high. And the maximum UV intensity forecast for tomorrow will be about 11. And here's the latest global weather update. Sunny in Shanghai, rain in Taipei, cloudy in Xiamen. Sunny in Guangzhou and Macau, showers in Chengdu. Thunderstorms in Beijing, cloudy in Seoul, showers in Tokyo. Thunderstorms in Bangkok, rain in Ho Chi Minh City and Manila. Showers in Kuala Lumpur, thunderstorms in Singapore, rain in Jakarta. Thunderstorms in New Delhi, rain in Karachi, showers in Mumbai. Sunny in Cairo. Sunny in Brisbane and Sydney, rain in Melbourne. Cloudy in Toronto. Sunny in Vancouver, bright in San Francisco. Rain in London, thunderstorms in Paris and Zurich. And that's the weather. Have a lovely evening.